there's 3 or 4 different trends that we're seeing right now. Security, adoption of mobile devices, I'll get into that in a minute, as well as application acceleration, and then the last thing is certainly BYOD. If you take a look at security, it's on the top of mind of all CIOs in terms of their ability to be able to take mobile and interject that into their overall IT strategy. If you take a look at adoption, certainly we're under a, for the lack of better words, mobile tsunami right now that the CIOs are being forced to deal with. I don't believe that they can stem the tide in light of the acceptance by government employees as well as citizens. But the fact of the matter is that the adoption of mobile devices is going to continue to grow, and the CIOs are going to be forced to deal with that and bring that into their security framework as well. Applications, given what's going on right now with the digital strategy and where the government's trying to leverage mobile as well as mandate mobile applications for government transparency, as well as to make their government employees more productive, that is certainly a catalyst for things going on. And then at the end, we've got BYOD. If you take a look at the survey results that came out of the digital strategy and other reports, 82% of the government employees feel that they're more productive using mobile than using a fixed device such as a PC. As well as you're starting to see the ability to be able to leverage different applications within the government. There's public-facing data that can be accessed, as well as critical information that allows the government to do their job on the fly in a telework or in a mobile environment. So there are several challenges with mobile. First is security, as I mentioned earlier. So the ability to be able to adapt mobile into a government security practice is key. There's a tremendous amount of complexity associated with mobile. It's not like back in the 2000s where the government agency would come out with standards for the desktop, standard type of desktop, operating system, software, as well as applications. The mobile world introduces a tremendous amount of complexity. The number of devices, the number of operating systems, third-party browsers that are being used, third-party accelerator applications, as well as the connectivity options, all bring a certain amount of complexity to the government or an enterprise in terms of implementing that. On top of that, you have performance. If you take a look at your average response time for an end user or government employee on a desktop, probably talking 2 seconds, sub 2 second response times. If you move to mobile, your response times are closer to 8 seconds or more, depending on the application and how beefy that application is. However, the end users and the business units are expecting to have that response time equal to the desktop. So there's things that need to be done in order to improve that end user experience. When you do that, you're going to also improve the acceptance of that application and mobile. Examples, software as a service, or other technologies that you can use mobile to access that data as if you're on a desktop, as if you're on that local LAN environment. And basically, the ability to be able to improve that in performance will increase the adoption of mobile. And then the final thing is cost. There's a tremendous amount of cost associated with implementing any new technology within an enterprise or the government. As we talked before, we've got a fair amount of complexity in terms of trying to understand the different type of devices, understanding applications that need to be built in order to take advantage of those devices. So the way you present data on an iPhone is different than you're going to present on an iPad tablet or on a Samsung device. Taking into consideration connectivity speeds, as well as taking a look at the different type of applications that need to be oriented to the application and to the device is very critical. So what Akamai does, Akamai provides the government and our enterprise entities a very tightly integrated suite of performance, delivery, and security capabilities that allow our end users to experience a higher performance level, as well as the ability to be able to inject security capabilities in the cloud that the government doesn't have to worry about. It is a managed service in the cloud offering, and at the same time, reduce cost. Our average customers are experiencing anywhere between 80 to 85% infrastructure and network reduction. If you add on top of that the complexity of mobile and trying to figure that out, you're really talking about a suite that can drive home real savings and ROI for our government agencies. Mobile advice for government is a couple things. One is you'll talk about with BYOD device security. And the good news is a lot of the newer technologies in the smartphone and smart device environment has technologies such as encryption at rest, encryption in flight, the ability to be able to do remote locks as well as device wipes, whether it's a full device wipe or a partial device, i.e. wiping out the business application and keeping the personal data. The ability to be able to support VPN type of technologies. All those are incorporated in most of the major manufacturers' offerings. The next thing that the government agencies need to look at is the application security. That's just as important as the device. So the fact of the matter is that most of the data that's being accessed off your mobile phones at this point in time is web applications. It's truly the business of the agency of either presenting data to the citizen or presenting data to the employee that needs to get work done, either through access to the data center or to a public cloud. The fact is that web applications are subject to malicious type of activities. So it could be DDoS attacks, or it could be cross-scripting or SQL injections, which can be handled through technologies such as our web application firewall. So when you're taking a look at mobile, you need to take a look at not only device security, but also app security. In the past, we used to take a look at infrastructure security, the device and the network, but now we really need to take a look at the application and understand the risk factor of the application, and then put the appropriate amount of authentication and ID management capabilities behind that that says that if you're accessing XYZ app and it's a low security issue, you need less authentication and ID management to be able to access that database or cloud. If you're going into personnel records or PII data at CMS, then what you're going to want to do is increase on the fly the authentication required to access that sensitive data. So again, it's all about device security as well as application security in order to have a well-constructed framework for security in mobile.